Hello everyone. The hottest movie in theaters in 2023 has been released. Let's enjoy this exciting movie together. Darvis is a good young man who specializes in hunting evil witches. He has a kind wife and a young daughter, Kira. One evening, he suddenly discovered a group of red witches passing by. When he returned home, he found his wife murdered by them. His daughter was hidden in the closet and survived. The death of his wife made Darvis extremely miserable. However, he received help from his cousin, the female warrior Halga, who helped him take care of Kira. In order to have money to support Kira, Darvis and Halda went into theft. That day they stole a lot of gold and silver jewelry, and Halda gave Kira an invisibility necklace. Since then, their thefts have become easier. Their group of thieves, with Simon and Forge, became professional, and soon their gang became famous. However, they attracted the attention of the female magician Safina. She hired them to carry out a heist at Corrine Tower, which contained a lot of gold, silver, and treasure. Darvis initially refused, but his partner, Forge, convinced him that there was a stone inside that could revive his wife. To save his wife, Darvis said goodbye to his daughter, Kira, and set off with his partner. They easily broke inside. Safina got what she needed, but when Darvis took the resurrection stone, he accidentally set off the alarm. The guards quickly rushed in. Seeing the dire situation, Safina used magic to freeze time, but this accidentally froze Halda. Before Darvis was frozen, he hastily threw the resurrection stone to Forge, hoping that he would take care of Kira, but he did not know that Forge was actually a scammer. After that incident, Darvis and Halda were imprisoned in a nearly unbreakable prison. That day, a very scary monster was transferred to the prison, scaring everyone who saw it. Unfortunately, it was imprisoned in the same room as Halda and Darvis. When the monster smelled the scent of a woman, Halga, it immediately wanted to attack her. He did not know that Halda was stronger than the monster. With just two simple moves, Halda defeated the monster. Halda and Darvis were imprisoned in the prison for 2 years. Finally, on the day of the parole hearing, they attacked the guards, then together hugged an eagle and flew through the window to escape. Thanks to that, they escaped from the dark prison. After that, they returned home to see Kira. However, they could not find her anywhere. Darvis feels worried because he doesn't know where Forge took Kira. Then, he and Halga began their journey to search for Kira everywhere, until they reached a very rich city. They were surprised to learn that Forge had become the lord here. Darvis's daughter, Kira, was now grown up. But Darvis could not have expected that Safina, the one who had gotten them arrested, was now Forge's advisor. Forge suddenly changed his attitude, saying that year, Darvis had abandoned his daughter, Kira, to find the rich stone. He also showed Kira the wanted poster from the prison. Kira was so disappointed in her father, Darvis, that she left. It turned out that everything before was a plot between Forge and Safina to trap Darvis and Halda. Very angry, they immediately rushed to take revenge, but were held back by Safina with dark magic. In the end, they were taken to the stone prison, where they were about to be executed. Before being executed, Halga secretly took a stone. With her inherent strength, she single-handedly destroyed dozens of guards. Meanwhile, Darvis, who was by her side, could not cut the ropes, and finally had to use a sword to cut them. Later, Darvis and Halda escaped. In order to save Kira, Darvis and Halda need to find more teammates. Only as with more teammates could they confront Safina. They sought out their old friend Simon, who had now become a circus performer. However, Simon still had the bad habit of stealing while performing. Unfortunately, his absent-mindedness caused his actions to be discovered, this thing angering the audience, who went up to the stage to attack Simon. In the chaos, Simon cast a spell, causing everyone to hang from the ceiling, but he forgot to exclude himself. In the end, he was pushed out the window and fell right on Darvis and Halda's horse, who were passing by. Knowing about the plan to save Kira from Safina, Simon nominated another member with extremely strong fighting power to join. And so they went together to a forest, where soldiers were preparing to execute an innocent female warrior. Suddenly, a horse unexpectedly transformed into a white bear. The bear attacked the soldiers and rescued the female warrior. Then, the bear transformed back into a girl, and her name was Doric. When Doric heard that their group was determined to defeat Forge, she was very happy. It turned out that Forge had recently replaced the lord in this area. He had been exploiting the forest indiscriminately and exterminating the goblins. Therefore, Doric immediately wanted to join the group to take revenge. Doric returned to the castle and discovered that Safina was an evil red witch. Safina had used secret magic to seal the castle's treasure. To eavesdrop, Doric transformed into a fly, but was unexpectedly discovered by Safina. It immediately cast a spell to track her down. In a panic, Doric transformed into a mouse and hid in armor, but was still discovered by the soldiers. When the situation became critical, she jumped out of the window and transformed into a falcon. However, a sudden rain of arrows fell, causing Doric to stagger and fall into the chimney. She quickly transformed into a human and walked out. Unfortunately, as soon as she got out, she encountered Safina, so Doric quickly transformed into an ostrich and ran away. She then transformed into a deer to quickly avoid the bullets. Finally, she escaped the pursuit just as the city gates were about to close. Doric returned and informed Darvis's group that Safina's sealing magic was very powerful. In order to defeat Safina, they needed the golden hat, which had the ability to nullify all magic. Fortunately, Halga knew information about the yellow hat, so the group decided to go look for it. They traveled all night and finally came to Halga's ancestral cemetery. There, Halga said that one of the corpses might know the location of the hat. So the group began to excavate each grave, and Simon used the magic coin to revive the corpse. Darvis took this opportunity to ask them about the location of the golden hat. According to the corpses, the hat had gone through 3 great battles and was finally passed down to the warrior Zekianar, a good man. That day, Zank's family had just caught a monster fish. Zank gently placed his hand on the fish's head, and it obeyed, from within the mouth, spitting out a child. This action made the villagers very happy. Darvis's group approached Zank and told him about their plan to take down Safina. When he heard about Safina, Zank's expression immediately changed. He showed everyone an ancient book, which recorded that in that year, the Red Witch Safina had carried out a coup in a country. They used the red horn to unleash a curse, creating red smoke and turning all the people into an army of zombies. The ultimate goal of these witches was to use the army of zombies to invade the world. Zank was one of the few lucky ones who escaped that night. This needed to be stopped, so Zank rode his horse and led the Darvis's group to where the hat was hidden. Unfortunately, they were tracked by Safina's men. Darvis's group went through a tunnel into the ground. When they went deep into the cave, they encountered a brain-shaped monster that specialized in eating intelligent people. Surprisingly, the monster did not attack anyone in their group. Then, they came to a bridge. Zank said that this bridge required their group to follow an arithmetic progression. However, as soon as Zank finished speaking, the bridge collapsed. The reason was that Simon, who was not good at math, had stepped on the wrong square. The group felt extremely helpless. At that moment, Simon discovered Halga's staff. He used this staff to create portals, helping the group easily cross the bridge. Zank released the seal and took the golden hat, then gave it to Darvis. However, right after that, Safina's minions appeared. Zank quickly rushed into battle. In just a few seconds, he had defeated all of them, leaving only one leader, holding a light sword in his hand. This leader was no ordinary opponent, and almost defeated Zank. Fortunately, Zank finally turned the tables and took down it. Unexpectedly, before Darvis's group could leave, Safina's minions suddenly revived, forcing they to quickly run away. Suddenly, a strong wind blew and group were blown back. It turned out to be the breath of the fat dragon. The fat dragon quickly chased after, eat a witch. After that, Darvis's group continued to run. However, in no time, all of Safina's minions were eaten. It wanted to change its taste to fresh meat, so it laid down and rolled, intending to crush Darvis's group and eat their flesh. Then, the dragon breathed fire towards them, causing them to be scorched. In times of danger, Simon opened a door leading up. However, Darvis and Zank did not have time to escape, and the dragon opened its mouth to wait swallow them. Fortunately, at the last moment, Zank used his sword to defeat the dragon. The group calmly walked out of the cave, but suddenly the dragon revived and chased them into another cave. Here, Simon cannot use the teleportation stick because there is no definite location. In addition, water began to flood in, threatening to drown everyone. In a desperate moment, Halda acted quickly and attacked the dragon, angering it. The dragon breathed fire, collapsing the entire cave. Thanks to that, everyone had a chance to swim along the water to the beach. Zank said goodbye to everyone, while Simon stayed behind to figure out how to use the hat. When Simon put on the hat, he was taken to see his great-grandfather. However, his great-grandfather said that he was not worthy and pushed him away. Although everyone encouraged Simon to try again, he was still pushed away repeatedly. By evening, the plan failed, leading to discord within the group. Before everyone separated, Darvis confessed that he was the one who caused his wife's death. That year, when he was escorting a red witch, he greedily took a piece of gold. Unexpectedly, their treasure was marked, and they came to his house and killed his wife. Everyone calmed down and decided to continue working together. They realized that tomorrow, there would be a group of merchants entering the city. So Darvis bought a painting so that Simon could open the portal inside. Darvis then secretly glued the painting to the bottom of the carriage, from which everyone could open the portal into the carriage. However, just as the plan was being carried out, Doric accidentally slipped the painting off while Simon was climbing in, trapping Simon. Luckily, at the last minute, Doric pulled Simon up from the rock blocking the way. They carefully reglued the painting to cover the portal. Meanwhile, Forge was holding an Olympic Games to make money, while Safina planned to turn everyone into zombies. Darvis's group thought they could easily enter Forge's castle, but the painting containing the portal suddenly collapsed, making it impossible for them to get through. Reluctantly, they had to find another way to break in. Simon gave each person a magic stone, which helped him create an illusion of Darvis playing the zither. The guards were attracted and approached, helping Simon's group pass through the portal. However, Simon got his leg stuck, causing the illusion to distort, causing the guards to notice something was wrong. Fortunately, the group managed to get inside before it was too late, while Hulda stayed behind to fight to stop the soldiers. With her superior skills, she single-handedly defeated hundreds of them. Meanwhile, Simon ran to the treasure door. When he saw the guards approaching, he put on his hat and met his great-grandfather again, who stopped him. In the emergency, Simon punched his great-grandfather and realized that this was just a test for him to believe in his own abilities. With the power of the hat, Simon easily defeated the soldiers. The door that had been sealed was now opened, but when Simon and Hauge entered, they found that there was nothing inside. Surprisingly, Forge was secretly moving the treasure onto the ship to escape, and they fell into Safina's trap. Doric was also knocked unconscious. Meanwhile, Darvis found Kira's daughter, but it turned out to be Safina in disguise. In the end, Darvis was also captured by Safina using her faucet. Forge appeared and wanted to destroy the Darvis's group, but Darvis begged for an honorable death. Therefore, they was bring to the arena, tied up with an anti-magic bracelet, making it impossible for them to escape. Immediately, the walls of the arena were pushed up high, and behind Darvis' group were carnivorous monsters. The rules of the game required them to find a way out of the maze, before being eaten by the monsters. Everyone panicked and ran away. Anyone who was unlucky enough to be caught by the monsters would be devoured alive. In addition, the monsters also knew how to create illusions, making it easy for those who were not careful to get into danger. There were chests containing weapons in the maze, but Hulda unfortunately opened a chest containing a monster. Fortunately, Doric appeared in time to help. In addition, Darvis had to face the monster, and he was cornered with no way to escape. In a moment of life and death, Hulda rushed in and saved him. Everyone ran to an iron cage, thinking it was the way out, but Darvis realized that hiding there would only lead to death. So, they rushed out towards a block of jelly. When the leopard saw them, it immediately attacked. Finally, everyone jumped into the block. When Jelly Block was lowered into the arena, Doric transformed into a snake and crawled out, thus freeing everyone. The Darvis group has captured the ship containing Forge's treasure. Forge has led Darvis' daughter, Kira, to the place, but it is too late to save the treasure. Darvis holds the resurrection stone and tells Kira the whole truth, making her realize that Forge is a bad guy. Forge then pulls out a knife, restrains Kira, and threatens everyone. Suddenly, a potato flies over and breaks Forge's face. Simon uses magic, creating a wave that sinks Forge, and pushes the boat out to sea. Meanwhile, Safina begins turning everyone in the arena into zombies. Darvis realizes she is performing a death ritual. The group sees that the people in the city are about to be in danger. They decide to go back to save everyone. Inside, Safina releases a red smoke, turning anyone who inhales it into a zombie. Darvis' group quickly transfers the treasure from the ship to teleportation gate, to fall on the street for people to pick up. Safina looked down at the arena, and saw that there was no one left. Her plan had failed. Furious, she attacked Darvis's group. Doric transformed into a bear to fight back, but was set flying by Safina. Then, Safina created a dragon from a stone statue. The dragon frantically attacked Darvis's group. Doric, transformed into a bear, tried to fight back, but was no match for Safina's strength. In a moment of danger, Darvis intervened. He used the scarf to cover the dragon's face, causing the dragon to spin and disoriented. However, the rope wrapped around Darvis's leg, dragging him away. Realizing that the situation was not good, Doric threw garlic at Safina, causing her to lose focus and fall. With no one to control it, the dragon returned to its original form. Safina was angry and turned out a demon arm. Simon was not to be outdone. He transformed his arm into a stone arm to fight Safina. The two sides fought each other for a while, but Simon was weaker and could not win. At that moment, Darvis secretly bit Safina. Seeing this, the group decided to join forces to attack. However, Safina used time-stopping magic to attack everyone in the group one by one. Fortunately, these things were all according to Darvis's plan. Therefore, they escaped the freezing state. It turned out that Kira had used the invisibility necklace to put an anti-magic bracelet on Safina's arm. While Safina was out of magic, Doric charged forward and attacked her fiercely. Their group won, but then they found Halga had been stabbed by a magic sword. Halga said her last words to everyone and then collapsed and died. Darvis remembered what his wife had said. There were things that needed to be let go. However, with the consent of his daughter Kira, he used the resurrection stone to save Halga. The group was reunited once again. With Safina dead, the former lord woke. He honored the Darvis's group and returned the forest to the elves.